Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Manjunathaya Namaha. A warm welcome to all delegates. Myself, Dr. Smita Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Rashastra and Vaishajya Kalpana, SDM Institute of Ayurveda and Hospital, Bengaluru. On behalf of Institution and Organizing Committee, I take this privilege to welcome all the participants for today's event, virtual workshop on development of herbal cosmetics. In recent times, we have noticed that the trend of natural and organic products is coming into limelight. People across the globe are inclined towards natural products for their beauty needs as well. Beauty is more than skin deep according to Ayurveda. Ayurveda believes that the beauty is harmony of whole body, the mind, body and soul. Our Samhitas explain cosmetic aspects under various terms such as Varnya, Kushtagna, Kandugna and much more. Many topical applications like Lepa, Alepa, Pradeha, Anjana, Taila, etc. are described in Ayurveda. However, Ayurvedic cosmetic techniques, herbs and formulations have to pass the test of time. Plants and natural substances mentioned in Ayurveda are formulated into cosmetic products for the daily skin care and hair care. A number of cosmetic companies have utilized Ayurvedic knowledge for developing cosmetics. Hence, we Ayurveda fraternity, who are backed by accurate knowledge on science, will have an additional opportunity in cosmeceutical sector. With this vision, today's event is being organized to gain practical knowledge about development of herbal cosmetics. So today, we are privileged to listen to an expert in this field with enormous skills in developing Ayurvedic cosmetics, topicals and other pharmaceutical products, Dr. Latha Damle, Founder and Chief Scientific Officer at Acrimed Biotech and Head of Research and Development Unit at Acrimed Pharmaceuticals, Bengaluru. I welcome you, ma'am. Now, may I request Dr. Reshma Saukar, Associate Professor, Department of Rashastra and Vaishajya Kalpana, to give brief introduction about today's guest speaker. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smita. It is an honor and privilege to have with us Dr. Latha Damle ma'am as our guest speaker. Madam is an Ayurveda postgraduate in Dravyaguna and is working as Chief Scientific Officer at Acrimed Biotech, Bangalore, which works towards drug development and drug discovery in the areas such as inflammation, cancer, immunology, wound healing, etc. She is also the Vice President and HOD R&D section at Acrimed Pharmaceuticals Private Limited, which are manufacturing oral and topical formulations. Madam in her academic career has been a university rank holder and has been associated with various schools of learning such as Toyama Medical and Pharmaceutical University, Bangalore, Japan, KEM Mumbai, Jiva Life Sciences Bangalore and London Business School. She has a vast clinical experience of 23 years as Chief Physician at Hotel Agency and Rare Ayurvedic Center, Bangalore. She has carried out extensive research works on various diseases like psoriasis, asthma, diabetes, skin disorders, etc. to name a few. She has been also awarded with the Super Achiever Woman Entrepreneur Award by Delhi Management Association in 2020 and also as Bahumukha Pratibhavante Award by Kannada Sahitya Parishad. Apart from research, Madam is equally committed to painting, singing and poetry. With this brief introduction, I request Dr. Latha Damle Madam to take over the session. Before we begin with this session, I request all the participants to kindly mute their audio and video. And if you have any questions or doubt regarding the session, You can type it in the chat box, which will be answered at the end of the session by the speaker. Thank you all. Enjoy the session. Over to you, madam.
I request Dr. Latha Damle to start the session. Dr. Latha Damle, ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am.
No. Not audible. You unmute your audio, ma'am. No, ma'am, not audible. No.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, now audible.
Okay, I think my Bluetooth has problems, so I will be using the computer microphone. Hope I'm audible now.
Yes, ma'am, you're clearly audible.
Okay, let me start with the presentation. So before we delve into the actual technicalities of herbal cosmetics, let's clear some things in the mind. Do you think cosmetic formulation is different from that of therapeutics? I would say no. Well, then, is cream, lotion means cosmetic? Do they mean cosmetic? I would say no. Then does it mean that therapeutic cream should not look like a cosmetic? That's also no. So when you talk about a cosmetic preparation, we have three-pronged views from the perspective of doctor, from the perspective of user, then from, of course, pharma end. So the cosmetic, if you want to tell it, then it should appeal to its, our senses. For example, look, feel, and smell, right? And in application, it should improve one's appearance and texture, probably disappearance of wrinkles or blackheads or hyperpigmentation, maybe temporary also, or permanently with a therapeutic ointment. So mostly these products, concentrate on hair, skin, scalp, eyelashes. Dr. Smitha told that Anjana what we had, eyes, ointments, lip balms, teeth and nails. So ultimately, even treating some problem to improve one's appearance, for example, an acne cream or hyperpigmentation, anti-aging, all fall under cosmetics. So there is this fine line between cosmetic and therapeutic. Let's not worry much about it. But when you formulate a formulation, your intention and need should be clear. So when we talk about herbal cosmetics, we face one main challenge is the user wants colorless, odorless, of course tasteless if it is a say lip balm or something when they happen to taste it. But our medicines are mostly deeply colored and sometimes awfully smelling too. So here comes the need for proper extraction and isolation of actual compounds. Well, this is out of the purview of today's subject because it deals in totally the phytochemistry and its chromatographic analysis. So maybe we can talk about it sometimes later or maybe in some other session. So having said this, we can say cosmetics can be used as the ones which we restrict them to be used for cleansing, moisturizing and beautifying agent. I don't know what beautifying agent because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So probably enhancing the attractiveness of the body. This is a definition or uses that I got from the net actually. So they help in altering the appearance. This is very important. Appearance of the body without affecting its function. So none of our creams or moisturizers or lotions that we intend to use on our skin should enter into the bloodstream. Because there was one case, there was a case where sunscreen products were seen in the blood circulation. So there was a strict legal problem during that time. So sunscreen products, acne, wrinkles, dark circles, puffiness under the eyes, and other skin imperfections can be treated using treatment products. So usually we have common types of cosmetics specially dedicated for skin, hair, nail cosmetics, and for hygiene purposes. We will not be dealing with nail cosmetics because it's mostly of lacquer and color. But coming to Ayurveda, which did have a lot of understanding of used for cosmetic purpose, like we had lip or suspension, not have the
Expanded your
it is
okay, ma'am.
Smita,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
can you see the screen fully?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No, anything happening? In case something happened, please stop me. Okay. So probably there was no need during that time for longer preservation, the carrying, handling and things because people used to do it then and there itself. So we did have suspensions where powder was used to formulate it into a suspension. Of course, that wouldn't every time you while applying. Then we had oils. Even the waxes, we can see the early reference of beeswax being used in Taylor and some Malaharas, Ratnakara and Rasatarangini. Well, we also started actually the earliest instance of emulsion, I can say, in the form of Shatadhauta Grita, where Grita or the ghee was asked to be washed in water for 100 times. This is how we actually incorporate water molecules into the fat molecules, which we will see later. So today, general topical formulation types, you can see in the picture, there are various colors, various forms. So these are based on different kinds of formulations. And these different kind of formulations are formulated with an idea of using the materials which are dissolving in various solvents, like either in you have some water soluble materials, you have some oil soluble materials, and the formulations need to be done accordingly. So we have gels or colloids which are water based, wherein you can use water based medicines. Then you have ointments which are for fats and greasy materials. Then you have the mixture of both, that is water and oil, which we call emulsions, which is a blend of water and oil. Then the similar emulsion with little more lather in it to be used as a cleansing material, like cleanser, shampoo, face wash, and soaps. We will not be dealing with soap because soap is a different technology altogether and it requires a lot of time explaining about that. So then we have pastes like face pack, which is a slight modification of emulsion. Similarly, we have powders and perfumes also, which we are not going to be touching much on that because there's no much technology involved in that. Rather, perfumes does have technology, but it's a bit out of this purview. So if you see the products, what you can see is difference in its viscosity. Takes it actually from lotion to creams. They're not different kind of formulation, they're just difference in the viscosity. Similarly, is from hard balm to the sticks, like even the lipsticks, to the balms, or the greasy ointments, which we have our popular white ointment. So let us go into these formulations in detail now. And before formulating, few guiding factors should be there in the mind. These are the factors which should be remembered while you formulate every other product. First, understand the need and intent of the product and know the science behind it, which is very important. For example, you want to develop a moisturizer and it needs to moisturize. Now you understand what is the word moisturizing means. The factors involved in preserving the moisture from the skin. What actually happens in the physiology of transpiration through the skin, and those who can prevent it can be used judiciously during this time, like humectants, like glycerin or oils. Understand
Dr.
this?
Latha, ma'am,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yeah. Yes. Please.
Ma'am, PPT, are you sharing, ma'am?
Sorry,
Have you
PPT.
started sharing with PPT, ma'am?
Yeah, my screen is being shared. This is a PPT.
But none of us are able to see, ma'am.
You're not able to. Oh man, I think. Sorry. Oh my God. But I think you could have. You have heard me speaking all this time? Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just check, ma'am.
Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So you haven't only seen me talking.
Yes, ma'am. But the voice was clearly audible, ma'am.
Maybe I will just scroll through the slides now. Just going through your intention and how the cosmetic. Hope you can see these slides.
Yes, ma'am.
So the challenges that a herbal cosmetic development involves.
Yes, ma'am.
The common types of skin, cosmetics, hair and nail.
Yes, ma'am.
And how Ayurveda has some of this already described.
Yes, ma'am.
Formulation, which I mentioned, you can see different kinds of different viscosity. So now we are coming to this formulation. When we are developing a formulation, the guiding factor should be the science behind it. So when you want to do some formulation, think about the product that it can, to do, and incorporate the materials accordingly. Because humectants, for example, can be incorporated. I might show in the demo in few of the preparations, but maybe it can be incorporated in many others also. So knowing about the quality of the products and quality of the materials used, you will be able to formulate better. And another factor should be the cosmetic or the formulation that you're forming should be easily spreadable. So there are some materials which we use to make it better spreadable. Similarly, very important concept when you are talking about skin and hair products, the pH balance, which we will deal with it little in detail later. Very important is it should not be irritating or sensitizing the skin. So every material that you are using should be checked for its toxicity. So toxicity of the materials, including that of the preservatives used. Of course, they are evolving actually. Today's what we are using. See, earlier we used to use parabens, and today we have some problems using them. So we have shifted to different preservatives. But yes, parabens are still used. Similar. So you should be updated with the toxicity details always. Then important thing is stability of the product, physical and chemical stability, because we are going to preserve this material. Say you are preparing something and keeping in the fridge maybe and using it up in a week, then maybe you don't need this concept much. But if you are selling it and the patient has to use it for a longer duration, or use this after some time, or maybe using it in a different climatic conditions, so he will need this physical and chemical stability and user acceptability, as I told earlier. So let's start with the ointment now. This word comes from the Latin actually, unge, anoint with oil. It's a homogeneous, thick and semi-solid preparation. It appears stiff. You might have seen the Iodex balm or our popular white ointment, or even Atrisor if you have seen. So it is greasy and it is intended for emollient effect, where actually you protect the water loss, moisturize and lubricate, and also some degree of occlusion is needed. But of course, they are not users' most favorite because they are greasy. And it is made with thick oils, fats, and waxes, for example, hydrocarbon bases, or beeswax, or vegetable oils in appropriate proportion. And what we can use here is mostly what we can use or non-polar or oil-soluble materials can be mixed in this space. For example, medicated thylas or grita or oil-soluble extracts. So the basic ingredients will be mostly emollients. They are beeswax, hydrocarbons, butters, like shea. Can you hear me, Smita? Smita? Smita, can you hear me? Hello? No, I am not able to hear you, Smita, well.
Hello, ma'am.
No, I am not able to hear. I don't know what is the problem. Yeah, I think all the participants, you're asking all the participants to mute. Can I continue? Smita, can I continue? Okay. So these emollients, for example, soft paraffin, then lanolin, which has little amount of water is also mixed in that. So where you can add little bit of, there's a provision to add very less quantity of some water soluble also. So accordingly, you can formulate. And very important in ointments is the use of antioxidants. Because in the oils, vegetable oil, you might have seen, am I audible? Smita? Okay. So we have seen rancidity or oxidation in vegetable oils. To prevent that, we need to use the antioxidants. And the herbal extracts that we are going to use should be oil soluble or medicated oils.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, hello? 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 Can I continue, Smita? Hello? 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 Oh, God. Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. You please continue, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what we do in the ointments. So usual method of preparation is mostly by fusion, where you melt the all oils and waxes and fuse them together with continuous stirring so that they incorporate with each other. If you are using some micronized powders, then you use the incorporation method by triturating or by incorporating into the base like basmas or fine chewings. So ointments used will be mostly for extremely dry and scaly skin, cracked feet, or chapped lips, as you've seen in lip balm. So I'm using some of the pictures that I'm using are from my products. It is not because I want to advertise these products, but I want to use copyright-free pictures. So in the ointment preservations, preservatives may not be or may not be required because the water content is hardly anything in the ointments. But the most important role is that of antioxidants, where since you are adding vegetable oils or maybe even the waxes, so this will prevent the rancidity or oxidation. The commonly used ones are BHA and BHT. Nowadays, even vitamin E derivatives like tocopherol acetates are used. So the stability that you have to concentrate in ointment mostly are of oxidation and microbial damage if moisture is present. And if oil to fat ratio is improper, then oil will separate after some time, which we call oil bleed. And this ointment can become thermolabile. That is, if it is exposed to heat or slight increase in temperature, it can separate. So this we need to take care. Now let's go to the next formulation, which is a gel. This gel has everything, the physical media is water basically. So mostly water soluble materials can be incorporated in this kind of formulation. So a gel is a physical state somewhat between solid and liquid. It's formed from a liquid phase that's been thickening by suitable gelling agents. It's a colloid system where particles are actually only dispersed and not dissolved in the dispersing media. The vehicle mostly is water. It can be alcohol or mixture of both, hydroalcoholic. And the gelling agent basically helps to build this lamellar structure, holding the liquids into solid structure by cross-linking of polymers. So types of gelling agent, we have natural polymers, semi-synthetic and synthetic. In natural, egg whites, collagen, gelatin, everybody knows about jellies. Then polysaccharides like starch, xanthan gum, guar gum, etc. Then semi-synthetic polymers like cellulose derivatives, hydroxypropyl cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose, etc. And in synthetic polymers, they have carbomers like carbopol. Smita, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you clearly.
I will check in between because just to ensure that you're able to hear and see, right?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Thank you. So the method of preparation of gel, basically gelling agent makes this dispersing medium thicker and formation of colloid happens. So usually purified water and as I said, some amount of alcohol can be used is as the dispersing media. And usually water soluble materials like kashayams or aqueous extract or even fresh juice like aloe vera juice can make very good gels. Color will be a challenge though. At the end of the session, you will also know one method of reducing the colors to be used for cosmetic formulation. So gelling medium is basically gradually mixed in the dispersing media with continuous stirring and the active ingredients. What is important are processing temperature, pH of dispersion, duration of the swelling are critical parameters in the gel formation and its rheological stability. That means the gel should not break. For example, hot water is preferred for gelatin, whereas cold water is preferred for methyl cellulose dispersions. Similarly, carbomer, guar gum, and hydroxypropyl cellulose prefer weakly acidic pH. And even the swelling duration of 24 to 48 hours provide homogeneous gels. Say for natural gums, it requires 24 hours, whereas polymers need about 48 hours to fully form. And where do you use these gels? These are used basically where you don't need the greasiness. The greasiness has to be avoided and it has to be easily washable. In most non-comedogenic preparations, that is people who have sensitivity to oil applications and they break out into, they have acne and other problems. And also in hair products where the gel keeps your hair structure intact so that you look trimmed. So that's where you use them. And also where stickiness should not remain. For example, in sanitizers. So after washing, after using, your hand should feel dry. Also, since it can dry up little once exposed to air based on the viscosity, of course, it can be used in occlusion type of dressings for wound healing. And also the advantage of gel is it gives a kind of cooling sensation due to water and alcohol in it. Since we mostly use water in this, antimicrobial preservation is very important and alteration of pH you saw earlier can cause rheological instability. Then stability at various temperature is very important because it tends to harden when cooled and liquefy at higher temperature. So coming to the next form of emulsion, we saw fat thing, we saw oil formulation, the water formulation. Now we are seeing something where we mix these two both. That's called emulsion, or in the common terms, creams. This started with the word emulsion actually means milk out because milk is a very good example of emulsion of fat and water. So popular emulsions are milk and mayonnaise. You might have seen mayonnaise being whipped up with egg yolk. So here what we do is mixture of two or more immiscible or unmixable liquids. Like in the picture you can see oil and water are trying to be mixed. So it has two phases, that is dispersed and continuous phases. Type of how you can incorporate one into another. Coming to the emulsion types, you have mainly water in oil, oil in water. You see the picture you can see. In one, we are trying to incorporate water in the oil, and in another, we are trying to incorporate oil in water. Water in oil emulsion, oil is more. This is like your cold cream or butter, where you have less water and more oil. This is also an example for Shatadavta Ghratam. Similarly, in oil in water, oil is dispersed in water phase, like you have vanishing cream or mayonnaise, where you have less oil and more water. So emulsions are usually, it can be made by high energy mixing of water and fats, but it happens better when you add emulsifiers. These emulsifiers are chemicals which can have water and oil particles, oil portions separately. So they hold water and oil particles like as if you are holding from left and right hand. So they stabilize the emulsion very well. Even they're called surfactants because even surfactants with detergent qualities, they're also emulsifiers actually. So emulsifiers are these kind of substances that have hydrophilic and hydrophobic end. That's why they're called amphiphilic. They have one end which attracts water, they have another end which attracts the fats. So they keep the emulsion stable. So what are these emulsifiers? Natural emulsifiers are lecithin in egg yolk, and in cosmetics we commonly use cetyl alcohol, cetyl palmitate, stearates, PG esters, fatty acid esters, polymers, thickeners, and many other things. Even detergents, as I told you, have emulsifying properties like SLS, etc. See, these have something called HLB scale, that is hydrolipophilic bond scale, which is 1 to 120. This is a value that is a measure of their affinity to oils and water. Don't need to worry much about it, but emulsifiers with low HLB values are important to water in oil emulsions, and high values from 8 to 18 say promote oil in water emulsions. So you can choose the emulsifiers accordingly. So emulsions can come in different forms. It can come in the creams, like cold creams or vanishing creams, or it can come as lotions, or even your foundations, where powders or colored materials or insoluble materials are incorporated. They can also come as foams, where gas is dispersed in the face. You can see in the shaving foam. They are also used in the foods, like mayonnaise, ice creams, cream sauces, etc. And to deliver vaccines, we use microemulsions. As I told you, lotions are nothing but thinner emulsion. Rest remains the same. So method of preparation, remember three things: mixing, dispersing, and emulsifying. So what we do is combination using mechanical energy. If you're using a larger amount of product, you need high energy stirrers. So this what it does is it reduces the whole thing into fine globular size and helps for easy dispersion. And then with the help of emulsifiers, water or oil particles are held dispersed in the continuous phase depending on the type, whether it is water in oil or oil in water. So there's something called globules or micelles are formed. And after a few minutes of intense high energy mixing, two phases are finely and uniformly dispersed between each other, and stable emulsion is usually formed. And this needs to be done in a very controlled fashion. So stability of emulsion is very important because it is a challenge as you are incorporating two immiscible liquids here. So you can see in the picture we have varieties of stability challenges: coalescence, flocculation, sedimenting, or creaming. Many things can happen if it is not. Hello, Smita? Smita, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I got a message here saying that I'm no longer presenting, my voice is not audible, something.
No, ma'am, it's clear.
No, okay. Since we are using water particles also, water phase also in this, very important is to remember about microbial degradation. So as I told you, paste is another form where we will try to use powders, insoluble materials into the preparation. like face packs or foundations or poultices. In the emulsion, solid particles are incorporated by triturating or by high energy mixers. Like clay, kaolin, multani mitti, and things like that can be incorporated in this. This is easier to carry and apply when compared to churna lepa. So apart from emulsifiers, we will also use, based on our intent, as I told you earlier about humectant and things like that, like glycerin, sorbitol, and stabilizing agents to improve the spreadability, like dimethicone, and perfumes and flavors, of course. So coming to the last formulation, that is a shampoo. I think this is the most popular hair care product now known, usually used for cleansing the hair of its dirt and grease. The nice part is word shampoo has come from Indian word champo, it seems. And in fact, Europeans found about this cleansing method from India, where people used to use soap nut and shikakai, where actually saponins are the natural surfactants. The shampoo uses is basically, dirt from scalp, protect and clean the hair, and treat any scalp conditions like dandruff and itchy scalp. So shampoos also can come in different forms, like you have dry shampoos, which comes as a powder, or you have a liquid where the liquid shampoos and shower gel or gels in the gel formation. So mostly emulsification is again the basis of formulation. And based on its function, like you have conditioning, voluminizing, or baby shampoo, these are all dependent on the type of surfactants that we use. So just to give an idea how shampoo works, how it forms the micelles around the dirt and how it is washed off with the water when the lather is formed. Here again you have water and oil, the oil particles. That's why you need an emulsification agent as well. So the basic ingredients are surfactants, which are also emulsifiers, like SLS and SLES, with co-surfactants like coamidopropyl betaine, etc. in water. They actually help to improve the quality of the foam. Then we need to have sequestering agents to reduce the hardness of water, because that ultimately, this can be used even in gels, because this ultimately makes or breaks the formulation. So we need to ensure that we reduce the hardness of water. Then you have different intent. For example, if you want to pearlize your shampoo, you can use ethylene glycol distearate. If you want to have a more of conditioning effect, add silicones or glycerins or polycoated neem. Then to adjust the pH, mostly because pH is very important in shampoo and creams, actually, whatever products that we are using for skin and hair. So to adjust that, we use usually citric acid or lactic acid. Even triphala concentrate can be used. Then thickeners like PEG 150 to stabilize the product. In the surfactants, we have different kinds of surfactants with ions, with positive ions, with negative ions. Then we have some with the dual ions. These are important when we want to formulate. So we can use less of one and add another depending on its safety profiles also. For example, mostly used are anionics because they can lift broad range of dirt. See, for example, in non-ionic, where no charge is carried, then you have less foam. The examples are cocoamides. Whereas in anionic, you have good foams. These are the most ones used, like sulfates, SLS and SLES. There are some which are positively charged cationic surfactants, which are anti-static. Because once we use this surfactants or the shampoo, you can see some kind of frizz in the hair. That is because of development of electrostatic charges at the end with the hairs. So that can be reduced when you add these surfactants. In fact, these are used for fabric conditioners too. So they are quaternary ammonium salts. Some are amphoteric, where they have dual charges. These are easy to be used because they, depending on the pH, they change themselves. And when they are used along with, say, anionic we can reduce the quantity of the other surfactants. So the shampoo stability test, pH is very important. If you observe, scalp pH is between, of course, the skin pH also is same, 4.5 to 5.5. But still, hair shaft pH is lesser than this, that is 3.67. That is why even well-balanced pH shampoo can cause little dryness in your hair. So that's when the use of conditioners started actually. The rest is same as emulsions because they fall under the same formulation group. Then foam stability. We have a cylinder shake method where you can see some amount of shampoo is mixed with the water and shaken, and the foam should remain, the length of the foam is calculated and it should remain at least for 5 minutes, but in the picture you can see it has retained its foam stability for 30 minutes. So as I told you, pH balancing is very important because our natural pH prevents microbial growth and preserves skin microbiome, and keeping this pH in this range is very important as it generates no electrical charges between the shaft, thus avoiding friction and breakage of hair. So keep this in mind while you formulate. In fact, I want to tell you, for example, no tear shampoo you might have all heard, which are used for babies. Actually, just to avoid tear, what they have done is the pH is kept neutral, that is 7, which actually is very alkaline for hair and scalp. So I've also mentioned the paper's name, reference, where these are described. So at the end, you could find out that we have formulations of various kinds. Everything looks like cosmetic, but it can be a cream, it can be a gel, lotion, or a paste. All these things can come. Now coming to the herbal actives, the challenge which I told you in the beginning. One is we can reduce the color provided we don't lose the active ingredients of that. So for that, here's an example you can see in the beakers. What we have depigmented solution and the herbal extract with the pigments. But if you see the TLC plates of the same, you can see at the bottom TLC plates in 2 different wavelengths, and you can see that active ingredients are preserved. So you have to ensure this because this is totally a different, as I told you about chromatographic analysis. We must ensure that active ingredients are still present and then we can go ahead with that. But if these pigments are bound to the active ingredients, probably we may not be able to do this. So then occurs the isolation of an active molecule, which is a whole science on itself. So I thank you for your patient listening, and I'm sorry if there were technical glitches in hearing the presentation. Thank you all participants. Now we can actually proceed on to the demo of these products. And if you have any doubts, please jot down and ask me later. Hello, Smita? Smita? Hello, Smita? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Can you hear us, ma'am?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you tell me, could you actually see all the slides?
Yes, ma'am, it was clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Shall we begin with the sharing the videos?
Yes, please.
We will share it, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we are sharing the videos now.
Okay, I will keep myself unmuted. So if you want, if I have to pause or if anybody has questions, they can ask you to pause and maybe ask a question there.
Yes,
Or you
ma'am.
can ask the questions at the end, however
Yes,
you
ma'am.
prefer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Raw materials used for the preparation of ointment.
I should tell you, mostly the audio of the videos are not clear.
Example under emollients, soft paraffin,
Smita, can you pause
and
the
light
video?
liquid paraffin.
Mostly the audio is not very clear. This is going to be, since you already know about these things now, so you can probably understand the complete procedures. In case you have any difficulty, please, you can pop a question, or maybe you can ask me so that I can pause the video. Yes, please, you can continue the video now.
Medicated oils, which are used as raw materials used for the preparation of ointment are emollients. Example under emollients, soft paraffin and light
We are
liquid
talking
paraffin.
about ointment preparation now.
Medicated oils, which are used as actives. Antioxidants. Examples are butylated hydroxyanisole and butylated hydroxytoluene. Thickening agent. Example under thickening agent is wax and hard paraffin. Method of preparation of ointment. So what are ointments? Ointments are semi-solid preparations for external application.
So we are now
which will show
melting
local and
the
systemic effect.
oil phase and
Now
fusing them
let's see
together.
the procedure for the preparation of ointment. Take
So
an
this is by fusion method.
Add emollient.
You can see the waxes being weighed and then being melted.
Add antioxidant. Add stiffening agent.
Is everyone able to see the video and follow it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Heat the mixture on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius.
So we will heat the waxes on water bath to about 75 degrees Celsius.
Let's now weigh the oil phase. Take an empty beaker. In this, add the medicated oils. Now heat the oil to 40 to 50 degrees Celsius on water bath. Both the oil phases I've kept on the water bath for heating. The oil phase is completely melted.
After melting of waxes in the oil phase,
As the
we
material
will incorporate
to the oil phase.
the oils with continuous stirring. Since we are formulating a very small amount of preparations here, we are not using any stirrers. We're doing it by hand. As it cools, the ointment is being prepared.
Cool the mixture with continuous stirring. We are slowly achieving the required thickness. So continue the stirring
You
and
can
cooling
see
to achieve the final
ointment
thickness.
is getting hardened.
Add perfume at or below 40
You can add the
degrees
perfume
Celsius.
when the ointment is at about 40 degrees Celsius.
Stir the mixture. The final formulation of the ointment is ready.
Let us now go to the gel making.
Ingredients used for the preparation of gel.
Here we can see the gelling agents.
Natural gelling agent which is used is xanthan
It
gum.
can be synthetic or, as I told you, natural. Here we have taken xanthan gum, which is a natural and
Hydroxypropyl
semi-synthetic.
carboxymethyl cellulose,
There is
and hydroxymethyl cellulose.
methoxy
Polymeric gelling agent includes
cellulose.
carbamor 934P and carbamor 940. Example under humectants, glycerin and propylene
Addition of
glycol.
humectants, either glycerin or propylene glycol.
Perfumes. Examples under preservatives.
First,
These
you
are
will see the
carbon
plain formation of
Then
gel.
glycerin
Then
and phenoxyethanol
I will show you the addition of
and
raw
propyl
materials
paraben.
added into that.
Method of preparation of gel. So what is gel? Gel is a semi-solid colloidal system consisting of two components. One is gelling agent and the other is fluid component. So let's see the preparation of gel.
Weigh the required amount of water and the gelling medium will be added to that.
Take an empty beaker, add the required quantity of water. Add preservative and heat the water phase on the water bath. In the next step, add the gelling agent.
After warming the water, You're adding the gelling agent. Then gel will be dispersed using
under high
stirrers.
speed stirrer and then allow it to disperse completely in the water phase.
This is where the colloid system is building now.
It is completely hydrated in
So the
the
cross
phase.
linking of polymers.
Proceeding to the next step, add the humectant.
Then you add the humectants.
Stir the mixture. The gel of desired
To this you can add the water soluble herbal concentrate, or you can also use the herbal concentrate containing water. I think somebody else has started presenting. I can see the screen.
No, ma'am, we stopped it. You can continue.
So the water itself can contain the herbal concentrate initially, to which the gel medium can be added. Or you can do this way also. You can see the pH. It is better within 5.5. Once we add the herbal concentrate, you can see the pH dropping within the acceptable range. You can see the gel being formed. You can also see later the same gel being formed with a depigmented. So you can see the pH is 4.8. Similarly, this is the depigmented herbal concentrate. And she will also show the gel made with this, using this. Kajal has asked whether a kashayam can be used for liquid base for gel. Yes, it can be. That's what I said. You can make a kashayam initially, and to which a gelling medium can be added. That is the advantage of gel, where you can incorporate kashayams or water soluble materials easily. Is it being replayed or?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're continuous. Yes. Geeta madam has asked me what is the method of depigmentation. Yes, we will show at the end of the video one method where we can depigment using activated charcoal. But as I told you earlier, we need to ensure that the active ingredient still remains in the material depigmented. So you can see the last depigmented, the gel using depigmented material and gel using the whole concentrate. So the second one is more cosmetically appealing, right? And the pH is between the acceptable range. Question has come, can bhasmas be added in the gel? If so, what quantity? Yes, very little amount of powders can be dispersed as suspension in the colloid system. I would say in milligrams. Yes, you can, but similarly, we can incorporate little bit of oils also in the gel, if well done. So we are moving on to the next preparation. Please play it, Smita. We are moving on to cream formation.
Let's have a look on the ingredients required for the preparation of
two
creams.
phases, oil and water phase.
Emollients.
Using
Example under emollients are light liquid paraffin and wax. Wax is also used as a thickening or stiffening agent. Humectants are glycerin and propylene glycol. Medicated oils, which are used as active ingredient. Examples under antioxidants are butyric hydroxytoluene
there's a necessity
and
of using
tocopherol
both
acetate.
antioxidants and the preservatives because we are using both phase,
Preservative
oil and water phase.
Such as propyl paraben, methyl paraben
There are
sodium,
varieties
and phenoxyethanol and ethyl hexyl glycerin.
In case you are preparing for a small duration, you may need nothing of these. You can prepare and use it up within a week's time or so, keeping in the fridge.
Sequestering agent such as EDTA disodium. Emulsifying agent such as stearic acid, which is also used as a lubricant, glyceryl monostearate, and
the videos are
polysorbate.
self-explaining.
Example under polysorbate is polysorbate 80. Perfumes, herbal concentrate, which is used as active.
Here we are using
Here I am
beetroot
using
concentrate to make a cream.
the beetroot herbal concentrate for the preparation of the cream.
And in the oil phase, we will be using the medicated oils.
Which are used as active ingredient in the oil phase. Herbal aqueous concentrate or herbal decoction. Here I am using beetroot aqueous extract or concentrate as the active material in the water phase.
This is a general guiding formula. You can change according to your need.
Method of preparation of cream. Take an empty beaker.
First we will mix all the oil phase, then we will mix all the water phase separately. then we will incorporate one into another.
Add the required quantity of water.
Now the water phase is being built.
Add sequestering agent.
Adding the sequestering agent to reduce the hardness
Add
of the
preservative.
water.
Now heat the water phase on the water bath
Warm the oil
so that
inside the
the
water.
sequestering agent and the preservative completely soluble.
Even the
After the
preservatives are
preservative and
added in
sequestering
this
agent
stage
are
itself.
completely soluble in the water
Then
phase,
we add the
in the
humectants.
next step,
All
add
that
the
is water
humectant.
solubles are added here.
Now heat the water phase to 75 degrees Celsius on water bath.
Always ensure you don't heat
Proceeding
them
to the
directly,
next
and so use a water bath to heat them.
step. Let's now weigh the oil phase. Take an empty beaker. Add emulsifying agent. Add antioxidant.
This is the oil phase
Add
that
emollients.
is being built. All the oil solubles are added here, warmed to get a solution.
Add polysorbates.
Each of the ingredient has its own necessity. As you saw earlier, either humectant or being thickening agent. Likewise, they are being added one by one. And all together are warmed to get a uniform solution.
Add the stiffening agent. And now heat the mixture on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius.
You
Both
can
water
see
phase
water
and oil
and
phase are
oil
getting
phases
heated
are
on the
being heated to about 75 degrees Celsius.
water bath. In the next step, let's weigh the
Now we
medicated
will warm
oils.
the herbal concentrates.
So take an empty beaker and add the medicated oil.
Just taking the medicated oils now.
Heat it on the water bath to
Also
40 to
observe
50
that
degrees
when
Celsius.
the emulsions are being mixed or formulation is being mixed, it has to be very slow and controlled. You can see her doing that.
Proceeding to the next step, take an empty beaker and add the beetroot herbal
We are
concentrate.
warming the water soluble materials. Here we have taken the beetroot concentrate. The concentrate can be of any degree.
As we can see, the oil phase is completely melted.
According to the,
Hence,
according
let's
to
proceed
color
to the next
changes.
step. In the next step, add the beetroot aqueous
So
extract
now
to the water
add
phase
the water solubles into the water phase.
and stir the mixture.
You can see the beautiful color. At this stage, you can also add kashayam or water soluble extracts.
In the next step, add the medicated oils to the oil
Oils are
mixture
being incorporated.
and gently stir.
Now is the time where we
Now
incorporate
add the oil phase
oil and water phase together.
to the water phase.
You can
And
see
stir
the
the mixture.
cream is being formed with controlled stirring. If you're doing a larger quantity, you can use high energy mixer or blender.
Continue the stirring and cooling.
Ideally, stir in one direction so that no foaming happens and the formulation is stable also.
After complete cooling, The final formulation of the cream.
So on cooling, you can
Like
see the
this.
cream. At this stage, you can add perfumes also.
At 40 degrees Celsius, add the perfume and stir the mixture. Now let us check the pH of the cream.
Now checking the pH.
The
You can
pH
see
of the
it's
cream
within
is
the range.
5.1, which is in the acceptable range. Now the final formulation of the cream is ready for use.
The emulsion is ready. In case the pH is very low, you can adjust it by adding triethanolamine. Now we will move to the shampoo making. There's a very good question here. How will we know if the active principles are still retained, and are there any specific tests for that, or is it animal experiment? No, it is not animal experiment. We have chromatographic analysis. I showed you in my last but one slide where you will see the ingredients active component is preserved after depigmenting. So that's how we will know. This is called thin layer chromatography, or you can have higher method of chromatography like HPLC and things like that, where you can ensure the active component is still present. Can we move on to the next video?
Should we proceed with face pack or shampoo?
Smita?
Ma'am, shall we go for shampoo or face cream?
Yeah, we will go for the face pack now because it is just a small variation of emulsion, not the shampoo. Sorry, face pack will go.
Okay.
Because where we are adding water insoluble materials as powders.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can make a face pack like this. You can also make a body bath paste using besan paste. Because if you see besan or any dals, when we have the culture of using this can be made into a very nice paste so that you can preserved for longer duration. And usually the dals or the besan or any kind of flours will have amino acids in that, and usually the floor pH is well within the range of skin pH. Now you know why grandma told to use the besan paste for wash.
Raw materials required for the preparation of face
The
pack.
preparation is going to be almost same, but you can see some of the powders being incorporated in this.
Raw materials required for the preparation of face pack. Humectants, examples are glycerin and propylene glycol. Emulsifying agents such as stearic acid and polysorbate. Thickeners such as xanthan gum and carboxymethylcellulose can be used. Oil absorbents such as talc
These are
and
the oil
kaolin
absorbent
can
powders like multani mitti or kaolin or calamine you can use.
be used. Surfactants such as cocamidopropyl butane and ammonium lauryl ether sulfate can be
Surfactants
used.
can be added or may not be added also. If you don't need foaming while washing, you need not add surfactants. You can just add the emulsifying agent.
Example under opacifying agent is titanium dioxide.
You can add
Aloe vera
aloe vera
juice.
juice here.
As the active ingredient.
You can also add
Actives
powders
such as
like I'm using here neem bark extract and multani mitti.
multani mitti and neem bark extract are used. Preparation of face pack. Take an empty beaker. Add the required quantity of water.
Similar to emulsion, we will make oil and water phases and incorporate them together.
Add preservative. Add humectant.
Now she's building the water phase.
Heat the mixture on the water bath. Take an empty beaker to weigh the oil phase. Add the emulsifying agent. Add polysorbates.
Oil phase is being built.
Add oil absorbent.
Here we can add oil insoluble materials like the powders, and they will be suspended in the emulsion.
Stir on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius. Add thinner to the water phase and stir the mixture under high-speed stirrer.
Water phase is being made.
In the next step, add multani
Colloidal
mitti to
structure
the
is created now.
water phase.
For this you can add the powders.
In another beaker, add aloe vera juice, which is the active ingredient.
She's taking aloe vera juice now. You can use any juice.
Heat both oil and water phase on the water bath. Add aloe vera juice to the aqueous phase and stir the mixture.
You can see the suspension being
In the next
created.
step, add the oil phase to the aqueous phase and continue stirring.
Both the phases are mixed now. Since we have added the
Add
gelling
surfactant.
agents, once you apply the face pack, after some time, this dries up so that you can rinse it out.
And slowly stir the mixture. Add perfume at 40 degrees Celsius and stir the mixture.
You can add the perfume and check the pH.
Now the final formulation of the face pack is ready for use.
There's a question here about licensing part. All these materials which are present, approved by the IP, which are even used, you will be able to get a license without any problem. Maybe we can move to shampoo now.
Method of preparation of shampoo.
Hold on till the end because you will also see a shower gel being made exclusively with soap nut extract.
Required for the preparation of shampoo. Surfactants. Surfactants includes SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, and
As you know,
SLS,
shampoo is
sodium lauryl.
where you're using the surfactants. Then you again have water phase and oil phase. And the very key thing here is mixing. Mix it very in a controlled fashion so that foaming doesn't happen there itself.
Lauryl ether sulfate. Foam boosters. Cocamidopropane and cocodioethanolamide. Thickeners such as polycotonium 7, which is also used as a conditioning agent, and salts, for example, sodium chloride and ammonium chloride can be used, and cellulose derivatives, which is HEC, hydroxyethyl cellulose, and methyl cellulose can be used as a thickeners for shampoo. Agents such as
if you want to make your shampoo shiny, you use this pearlizing agent. Otherwise, you can ignore this. This is EGMS.
Opacifying and clarifying agent. Example, glyceryl monostearate and cetyl alcohol. Sequestering agent, EDTA disodium. Preservatives include methyl paraben sodium, ethyl hexyl glycerin and phenoxyethanol, and propyl paraben. Antioxidant includes butylated hydroxyanisole and butylated hydroxytoluene. Medicated oils, which are used as actives.
So you can use accordingly in the water phase, the oils, the water solubles, and oil phase, the oil solubles as medicated extracts.
Method of preparation of shampoo.
She will carry out the same process as she did in emulsion. She will warm each phase separately and then incorporate them together.
The required quantity of water. Add sequestering agent. Add preservative. Now heat the mixture on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius. So the mixture is kept on the water bath for heating. As you can see, the sequestering agent and the preservative is completely dissolved in the water phase. In the next step, add the surfactant. Add foam booster, which will improve the foaming property of surfactant. During the addition, slowly add the surfactant as well as the foam boosters.
So all the ingredients are added very slowly
to prevent the excess foaming.
Otherwise, your shampoo will
Add
be
stabilizer
already foamed up in the bottle.
Wetting agent will improve the spreading property of the final formulation. Add thickener and viscosity builder, which will give the desired thickness to the final formulation. Now stir the mixture slowly, either in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. Stirring is done slowly to prevent the excess foaming. Now heat the mixture on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius. Mixture is placed on the water bath for heating. While the water phase is getting heated, let's prepare the oil phase now. Take an empty beaker, add the pearlizing agent.
Here she is adding the pearlizing agent. At the end, you can see the shampoo will be shining.
The pearlizing agent will impart pearliness to the final formulation. Add a pacifying agent. The pacifying agent will provide
That's what they
opacity
call
to
it,
the
silky
formulation,
shampoo.
and it will also improve the bonding between the water and the oil phase. Add polysorbates. Polysorbates will improve the stability of the formulation and improve the bonding between the oil and the water phase. Heat the oil phase on the water bath to 75 degrees Celsius.
Now the oil phase is being made.
Both oil and water phase are kept on the water bath for heating. Take an empty beaker and add the medicated oils. Medicated oils such as neem oil, almond oil can be used. Heat the oil to 40 to 50 degrees Celsius.
Foam the medicated oil now.
Before proceeding to the next step, ensure
You
that
can see water,
all the
oil,
ingredients
and
in the oil
medicated
phase
oil
are
are
completely
being
melted.
heated.
Now add the oil phase,
Now add one by one,
the water phase. The temperature of both the phases
very slowly.
should be equal.
Keep the stirring in one direction usually, either clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Slowly stir the mixture to prevent the excess foaming. At around 60 degrees Celsius, add the medicated oils.
Now she is adding the medicated oils.
And stir the mixture in one direction.
Mix slowly in one direction to disperse.
Continue the stirring with the cooling. As the mixture is getting cool, the desired viscosity of the formulation will be
You can see the emulsion being formed. Slowly on cooling, it thickens.
at 40 degrees Celsius. Perfume is
So we
added.
can add perfume at about 40 degrees Celsius. Don't add when it is hot.
After adding the perfume, stir the mixture. After the complete cooling, the final formulation, the shampoo is obtained.
Shampoo is ready almost now.
Now let's check the pH of the shampoo.
Now we have to check the pH of the shampoo. You can also see
The
the
pH of the final formulation
oiliness in the shampoo, and the pH is well within the
1,
acceptable
which is in the
range.
acceptable range. Now the final formulation of the shampoo is ready for use.
Now I think we have a soap nut shower gel formation. This is a very easy preparation which people can do at home.
In this video, let us see the method of preparation of one of the simple shower gel using soap nut aqueous extract. So take an empty beaker. Add required quantity of water.
There's a question here where Manjula has asked, can we add essential oils for aroma? Very much. You can add essential oils as an active also. And as a shampoo, can we use powders? It's very difficult to incorporate powders and still keep under emulsion, but you can definitely add in a very small quantity. Sharadini ma'am has asked for my email ID and phone number. I will provide you at the end of it, and you can reach out to me at any time. You can see now the soap nut shower gel.
Add preservative.
We are adding the gelling agent to the water.
Keep the mixture or water bath.
Slightly warm that.
As the preservative is completely soluble in the water phase, now add the gelling agent.
Ensure preservatives are well dissolved before adding any other materials.
And stir the mixture in the high speed stirrer.
Gel is being made.
Add the neutralizing agent.
She's adding neutralizing agent, that is
And slowly stir the mixture
to adjust the pH actually. This can be added at the end after adding the soap nut extract also.
Now add the soap nut aqueous extract
Soap nut
to the final
extract
mixture
now.
and slowly stir it. Now the final formulation of shower gel with soap nut aqueous extract is ready for use.
Okay, the final formulation is ready now. You can see the clear shower gel using soap nut extract. Ensure that you check the pH of that also, but So now I'm showing you one method where we can depigment the herbal extracts. Of course, ensure that your active compounds are well preserved. This is a method where we use activated charcoal. First, we take a decoction which is strongly colored. Then we add activated charcoal and pass it through membrane filters. You can also use napkins and funnel also, filter. One is a control, and the other is adding activated charcoal. Once it is dissolved, once activated charcoal is well dispersed, we will take some amount from that. He's syringing out the solution now. For the demo purpose, he is using membrane filters. You can also use tissue papers or filter papers inside funnel. You can see the drops that are being coming after the filtration is almost colorless. At this juncture, I would like to thank all my staff for helping making this video. You can see the color difference. You can also repeat the filtration to have even more colorless compounds. That's it from me. I hope it was useful. I will type my email ID in the chat box. Anytime you can reach out to me. If you want to know more about chromatographic analysis or phytochemical analysis, we can have a different session altogether.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a great session and the demonstration part was extremely good. We could clearly understand the procedure of developing the cosmetic products and imbibing the Ayurvedic cosmetic aspects into the cosmeceuticals. Definitely, your thoughts enabled all of us to gain knowledge. Thank you once again, ma'am. The queries raised by the participants are already answered by Dr. Latha Damle, ma'am. Now we are at the end of this event. Now may I request Dr. Sujata K, Professor and HOD, Department of Rashastra and Vaishajya Kalpana, to deliver vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, one and all. Appreciate your happiness.
Namaste, madam. Respected speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Latha Damle, madam, delegates and my colleagues, good afternoon to all. Today we had a webinar on the topic development of Ayurvedic cosmetics. Does not mean that cosmetics are not explained in Ayurvedic classics. It is explained, but the presentation of cosmetic is not appealing to the people of present era. So there is a need of modification of the formulations according to the need by using modern pharmaceutical techniques. Hence, we plan to conduct this webinar on the topic development of Ayurvedic cosmetics. When we asked about this with Dr. Latha Damle madam, she accepted our invitation and she spared time from her busy schedule to grace the webinar. We are grateful to Dr. Latha madam for giving very informative lecture and demonstrating the preparation of various cosmetic preparations. I would like to express my deep gratitude to madam on behalf of college and department. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the organizers.
So I would like to extend my thanks to all the delegates for making this program successful. Lastly, I would extend my gratitude to our principal, Dr. Jagdish K, my colleagues, Dr. Reshma and Dr. Smita for giving technical and moral support in the conduction of the program. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everybody. I would like to specially thank my staff, Lavita, Hari, Nataraj, Dr. Nataraj, Anjan, everyone for making this a very good success, and also the organizer for inviting me. And special thanks to you, Smita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks for all participants. You can call me or you can
Thank you, ma'am.
ask me your questions anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. We thank all the participants. Thank you, one and all.